All right, we are live.
I'm ready. Oh, how are you this evening?
How are you?
Not too shabby. Quite excited.
We don't have anyone watching yet, so a couple of minutes. I can't even open this. Oh, Danielle's here. All right. We're just going to wait a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes, guys, to let people kind of filter through before we kick off. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in for our winter alcohol-free beer tasting.
We've got quite a few exciting things to get through. Have you tried many of these, Jessy?
I've I've drunk before, but everything else we've gone esoteric to really get into that Christmas feel. We've got some darker stuff, some different flavors. So do you want to introduce what we're kicking off with?
Sorry, I am having some connection issues, but I think that you just said we'll introduce a beer.
Yes, I was going to introduce what we're kicking off with.
Oh, this is going to go really well, isn't it? We're going to start with I just did that real like influencer thing, didn't I? We're going to start with the Hitachino nest. So this is from a Japanese brewery. So these guys have been around for a really long time. I think I wrote it down earlier, 1823 they were founded. Wow. So they're actually really well known for making full strength beer, but I think quite recently have added alcohol-free to their selection. So this is the first time I've tried any of their alcohol-free beers, which is quite exciting. So we have a sniff. Okay, well, you can definitely get the yuzu straight away.
Absolutely, and quite a lot of ginger as well. So yeah, this is a yuzu ginger, and they call it a non-ale, which I quite like as a way to describe an alcohol-free beer.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's quite delicate, like it is quite not thin, but it's quite a soft body. It's not really like filling.
Yeah, it reminds me kind of like almost like a ginger tea.
It's got that sort of gentle warmth.
Yeah, like an infusion, you've got like you're not being hit over the head with all the flavors that are behind it.
Yeah, it's not fiery, it's just it's soft. That.
Sorry, what did you say? You paused.
I'm so sorry. I keep losing you. What are you thinking? Are you doing?
Yeah, it's nice. I was going to say, for people who might be watching, how do people normally go about? We see these flavors and these interesting ingredients being put into these beers. How does that work? Are you there?
Sorry. Sorry, what did you say?
I was asking if you could describe for people how you get these kind of yuzu and ginger flavors into a beer.
I think it depends on how you're wanting to add them, but I think for a lot of places, when you're working with something like yuzu, you might use a puree. And in a variety of ways, it's not overly been ginger in its raw form here. I don't know. What do you think on the ginger front?
I don't know. I'm getting quite a lot of ginger. But maybe that's because it's a flavour I'm more familiar with than Yuzu. I think you often pick out the stuff what you immediately pick out is the stuff you know kind of better.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm so sorry. I'm having such an issue with connection here, and I'm really not sure why.
It's hard because I don't know if it's you or me.
I'm not sure either. 2020. We'll just blame it on 2020. Yeah, I'm into this. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it, but I really enjoy it.
I think the only thing I would say is that I wished I had chilled this down a little bit more.
Yes, so my box arrived at about 5 o'clock, I think, and they arrived really cold. I think they'd probably just been in a warehouse or a van. So I didn't put them in the fridge because they were too cold, and now I think they are slightly too warm, but it might work well for the darker ones.
I had the problem of not being able to fit everything in my fridge, so it did all go in there, but only at the end, towards the end of the day. So something not quite as cold as maybe I would like, but
yeah, I wish that I had this one slightly colder.
Shall we move on to the binary?
Yes.
Now this is a real club soda fave, isn't it?
It is.
We like to drink this a lot.
I'm not gonna. Ooh. Luckily, I have some kitchen roll right here. This is going terribly well. Could have been worse. Could have got it on the laptop. So yeah. I'm not going to lie. I specifically asked for this one in the box just because I really enjoy drinking it.
I feel like this is smelling. My bottle is smelling particularly like winey. I
was about to say that. Yeah, that has got a real nose on it.
Yeah.
It's really, for me, that's really like passion fruity.
It just really smells like white wine to me.
It really does. It smells like a New Zealand Sauvignon. It's really tropical and bright.
Do you want to explain to people watching a bit about how this beer's made? I feel like you freeze every time I ask you a question.
I mean, it's kind of good for me. It gives me a moment to think. So this was a really interesting one. So they actually use the hop leaves. I think they put those in the mash. And what you get from that is quite a nice astringency. Hop leaves generally don't get used. People usually just use the hop cone, sort of the actual flowering part of the plant. But I think they use them to a really good effect here, because I think it really kind of helps to balance out all of the juiciness of it. They kind of pitch this as being, I think they pitch it more as being a wine alternative than a beer alternative. It has got that sort of Prosecco-y quality to it, but I feel like it's really kind of nicely grounded with something quite savoury about it.
I think it just sits like perfectly somewhere in between, you know. This is a beer that feels like it's really made to sit on it, to be on a table, to have with food. And so some of those kind of lighter flavors, which we might normally associate with wine, just come out really, really well. And actually, they come out a lot better than you get with some of the alcohol-free wine alternatives, because, you know, it comes up a lot that sometimes they can maybe be a bit lacking in body. And I think having a beer which, you know, takes its body not from alcohol but from, you know, the malt and stuff that gets used within it, and then having those flavors that we associate with wine on top kind of brings together the whole package a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I get a lot of peach on that.
Yeah.
I think they may have, I don't know, it seems juicier than last time I drank this. I haven't had this for a few months. Kind of, yeah, brighter and juicier. I mean, this is something that I would definitely, I think what I like is you could stick this in a beer glass and just have it as a casual drink, or if you wanted to have it as a bit of an occasion drink, for like toasting on Christmas Day or something, it would be really nice to pop that in a flute and enjoy it in that way as well. So I think it's really versatile. Oh gosh, I think I'm going to have to order more drinks before Christmas. I thought I'd finished, but I don't think I have.
You got to face the Royal Mail disaster to try and get everything here on time. Right, so next we're going to be moving on to something that I've got to be honest, I really know nothing about. This is a recommendation straight from Mr. Wise Bartender himself, Tom, who suggested we include this because he's been absolutely raving about this stuff. So
ooh. You're welcome, Danielle. We love binary. Danielle's just saying thank you for the feedback.
I'm trying to balance all these beers on my table that I've got my laptop balanced on. All right.
It's a very professional setup that we have.
Absolutely.
Look at the head on that. That's good.
Now, what we're going to drink now is a wit, and I've got to be honest, this is not a beer style that I normally go for, personally. I'm more of, well, like our nicknames, Hoppy and Malty, I am firmly Mr. Hoppy. So this is definitely a bit outside my comfort zone. So, do you want to talk a bit about what we kind of expect from a wit?
Yeah, this is really interesting. We'll come back to smell and taste in a moment. So usually with a wit, I mean, I think you get it with this. You would usually expect kind of coriander and orange peel, really good head retention, slightly hazy. Like it's ticking the boxes for me. But on the nose with this, I do get like a slight tea thing going on. I don't know if that's just me. It may just be me. Perhaps the orange is putting me in mind of certain black teas that have that kind of character to them.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I can also tell my glass must be dirtier than yours because my head retention isn't as good. You've got a very drop glass.
Nothing worse than when you're doing tasting and you realise your glass is just full of bubbles.
But yeah, I actually, given that I don't normally like this style, I really enjoy this. And I think what I find sometimes with alcoholic versions of this style is maybe that I find the combination of everything, the booze, the different flavors, quite overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that we don't really talk about enough with what can be so enjoyable about alcohol-free drinks, is that sometimes, because they're maybe perhaps lighter than what you might expect from an alcoholic drink, it actually allows different and more interesting flavors to come to the fore when normally they get masked by the ABV of a drink. And I think this is like a perfect example. You can really get the orange and the coriander coming through really, really well.
Yeah. I'm like you, Jessy. I'm not always particularly into this style. Beers in general that have a high wheat content, I have to be in a very particular mood for them. And I just sometimes find, I mean, as well, recently, I think they're becoming quite a strong style as well at the moment. And when you have that high ABV, I do sometimes just find it almost a little bit sickly. But I agree with you here. All the flavors just kind of shine through really well. And I really enjoy as well that it's got that nice, clean, dry finish that sort of lasts. I really, really like the finish on this.
Yeah, the finish on this, it really holds the same flavors that you're getting in the original sip, because, you know, definitely that's something that you want to enjoy. You don't want to take a sip of a drink and it just feel like it's immediately left your mouth. You know, that's why we enjoy drinking. We like to have like stuff sit on our palate, and I think that the flavors in this stick around really well.
Yeah, there's something almost slightly marmalade-y going on, I think, in that sort of bitter orange.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect for toast.
Definitely. Oh yeah, I really like that actually. That's definitely something that I would come back to again.
So yeah, it's called Nittenauer, the Wit, and it's imported from Germany. But you can find all of these beers on Wise Bartender either individually or in this box that we're drinking from tonight. So next,
can I just backtrack one to Binary? Because I was looking on their website. They're also doing their alcohol-free in a 60 now, I think, like in a sharing bottle, which I think is just really lovely for an alcohol-free beer, wine, to have it in that size where you can crack that open with friends and share it. I think that's really great. And I did mean to say that when we were drinking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Get everyone involved in your mindful drinking this Christmas by just plying them with huge bottles.
I mean, that's absolutely what I plan to do. Right.
So, next up, do you want to introduce this one?
Oh, where's my camera? There we go. We're heading on to the Good Karma. So this is called Love That Feeling. It's an alcohol-free Hefeweizen. So this is Steve, who's been in the drinks industry for years and years, started this brand. Is it this year? It's been a long year. So the first beer released was a Radler, but we decided to go for this one. I think Tom felt it was a bit more season appropriate. Radlers tend to make you think of the summer, so we've gone with this one. I'm gonna crack it open.
The first thing I'm getting on this is a lot of banana.
Which is what you want.
Which is what you want, because it is a Hefeweizen.
Yeah. So Hefeweizen, you usually anticipate that it's almost like, I always think of it as being like a foam banana kind of character.
Yeah, like the little sweets.
Yeah, which I love.
That's definitely what this smells like. So I know Steve, we did a really great interview with Steve, which you can see on the Club Soda blog, and I really recommend going to read because the guy is absolutely fascinating, amazing to talk to. And, you know, he was telling us that doing Good Karma for him was all about really like pushing the kind of boundaries of the styles that we see in the alcohol-free world. So, you know, he did a Radler, he's done a Hefeweizen. I think there's lots more exciting things coming, and yeah, this is like very impressive.
Yeah. I really like the body on that. It's so smooth and full. Yeah,
definitely. It is a real like pick and mix kind of vibe. That's what I'm getting. I think because the body is smooth, it's that same consistency of those sweets.
Foamy.
Because they're, they're just good.
Steve's in the chat sending good vibes. We love it.
We like to see.
But yeah, what I like as well about this brand is I think Steve's to charities that are important to him, and I feel like it's such a good name for this brewery because that's exactly what he's all about, and kind of paying it forward and doing good things for other people.
Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely a brand you can rely on because there's probably no one who knows more really when it comes to alcohol-free beer than Steve. So
absolutely.
Sorry, I my laptop in. So I could disappear.
Oh, actually, yeah, I better turn my charger on. There we go. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I got a case of this when it was first released, and it's been a very popular one in our house. Sorry, you can just watch me enjoying it for a minute.
So I guess those kind of four were the like lighter. Oh, are you okay?
Yes, you froze then. I was still moving to me anyway. I don't know if anyone wants to say in the comments how they're doing with the
if they
quality
can tell
here.
whose Wi-Fi doesn't work, because we
Do you
can't.
know?
I was going to say, you know, that's kind of the first half. They're kind of the lighter half of our drinks this evening. What's kind of been your standout from those four?
Oh, I think that's a really hard call. I think it would depend on what kind of mood I'm in. I do really love the binary for something just really delicate but really flavoursome. I think it really stands out. But I do love that karma. I just think it's just very satisfying.
Yeah, I will say I think the wit is probably the one that I feel like has been the like best surprise, you know. I guess like good karma, I expect good things. Binary, I've had loads, I know I love it. But this was something that I wasn't expecting. Ooh, where's my camera? I wasn't expecting to enjoy, but I really, really did.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it, when you discover like something new that's really good. It's like, oh, another one that I can turn to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Also,
I would definitely order that again.
Ali's got in touch to say that we're both dropping out, so it's both of our Wi-Fi's as bad.
Incredible. It's just a cursed tasting.
Absolutely. Anyway, we're ploughing on. What have we got next?
Next we have Fireside Pumpkin Spice.
Fireside Pumpkin Spice. Where am I going?
So this is from their winter series. Big Drop have been so busy this year. I feel like they've just had so many different beers out.
Every day I look and they're releasing a new beer. I don't understand how they find the time and the ideas. It's an impressive array of different things they've got. Really a beer for everyone.
Ooh. So I think in alcohol beery world, pumpkin beers seem to get quite a bad rep. And I think those people are wrong, because who doesn't love a bit of tasty pumpkin?
I am immediately loving the head on this.
Yeah, and the colour. I don't know if you can really see, but it's got a really kind of deep. Ooh.
Oh. So in my mind, I thought this might taste like a pumpkin spice latte. It doesn't. So if you don't like pumpkin spice lattes, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm really into this. I was worried that it might be, sometimes it can be a bit cloying on the spice and just a bit too much, but the spice is really subtle.
Well, what it's got, which I think helps with that, is it's got a really nice smokiness to it.
Yes. Yeah, I suspect that's to do with the malt base that they've used. But then there is like a slight sweetness. You can definitely taste that pumpkin sweetness. It's just kind of, it's got really gentle spices.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also like that it's not really heavy going. I was a bit worried about this half of the tasting because I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to be so full. But I think the carbonation on it's really, it's very nice and sparkling. So it kind of takes the edge off something that could be a bit too heavy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe relying on or using the kind of toasted malts to give a smoky taste is good, because it removes that need to like really pump up the body, because you've got that depth of flavor coming in. You don't have to have the same viscosity in your mouthfeel.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I'd love to drink a pint of that on cask. That would be very pleasing.
Well, on the back of the can it says perfect for relaxing by the fireplace after a walk amongst the autumn leaves, and I feel like that just conjures up like a nice pub with a fireplace.
Yeah, that absolutely fits that setting, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Oh, it's worth noting as well, this is gluten-free, so it's less than 20 ppm, which is parts per million, I think, so that comes in as gluten-free as well, which is quite nice. Very nice, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that.
I feel like I don't know if I can drink all of these in one night, but I don't want to get rid of any of them. I'm going to have to find a really good way of keeping them for tomorrow.
This is the problem we have every time we do this. We crack 8 beers, and then that is just too much liquid to try and consume of an evening. But we need to find a cleverer way to. We need beer brands to start making Jessy. 100 mils.
Yeah, one day we'll be able to do this in person, and then we could just share one of each beer between us. That'll be better.
One day. One day. All right, what's next? Are we doing the Haviestoon?
Yeah. So, Wheesht, is that how we say it?
Wheesht.
Wheesht.
Yeah, like, so this is a brewery who I absolutely love. They're a Scottish brewery, and they have this little mouse. This is not the only reason I love them. Their beer's also really nice. But they have this little mouse who's on all their beers. And I just think it's a really cute bit of branding, basically.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? I've not had any Haviestoon in a few years now, but I remember a barley wine of theirs that was particularly knockout.
I think they're quite very good for that.
I don't remember what it was called. Oh, it's got just a lovely roasty aroma.
So this is an alcohol-free dark ale. So a dark ruby, actually. So I guess kind of, in the same ballpark as that big drop we just had.
Yeah, it's a similar shade as well, and it has that similar characteristic again that makes me think, oh, I'd love it on cask.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really impressed with the head retention again on both of these, because I do think with these kind of darker ales, you want that kind of, like if you are having that at home, if you are having them out the bottle, you want to kind of feel like it could be close to as if you were having them on cask, and that kind of thick head is so classic for those kind of bits.
Yeah, and it's quite a creamy head as well. I really like the malt in this. It's got that really, that kind of malt loaf kind of nature to it. It's that sort of deep fruity quality.
This is my immediate thoughts is this is a bit more creamier than the big drop we just had.
Yeah.
And I'm also getting like more like coffee.
Yeah.
Rather than spice.
Yeah, definitely.
I like this a lot. I think this is really, really nice. This definitely feels like it'd be nice if this is now where I've gone in the opposite direction. The first lot of beers, I was worried they're too cold. This feels like it'd be really nice if it just warmed up just that little bit more.
My temperature, I'm very happy with where I'm at. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's slightly less carbonation on this than there was on the Fireside, and I think that's what gives it that nice kind of creamy texture. It's really lovely.
Really, really smooth. No, that's very, very nice.
I mean, I've never had it before, but you knew it was going to be good because it's Haviestoon.
Yeah, exactly. And they're also like if you have at Christmas or at any event, like people who are like mixed in their drinking habits, they're a really nice brewery to order from because they, do kind of full strength lagers and ales at like 4 or 5%, but then they've also got a really nice session ale at like 2.5%. And they've got the Wheesht, which is obviously alcohol free. So it's really nice if you're like looking for something that's going to offer you like a kind of interesting mixed box for people who, have got a variety of drinking habits. It's really nice. Or equally, if you want to make sure you've got a couple of nice lower ABV things thrown in with some stronger stuff.
Yeah, I think binary also have the 4% binary as well. So again, quite nice for a mixed case if you've got different people with
absolutely
different drinking patterns.
All right.
I feel like I'm not quite ready to move on.
This is the point where I'm like, oh, this is a lot of dark beer, because now I've had 2. I'm like, 2 more to go.
Just feel a little bit slower. Right, so we're heading on to the Lola Porter.
So this is from the same people who did the Wit. So this is another one of Tom's recommendations.
Ooh. Oh, wow. I'm going to sound like such an annoying person, but to me, that smells like coffee, but when coffee has like a kind of sherry quality to it.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever drunk sherry, so I don't know what sherry smells like.
Oh, sherry smells very tasty. It's that kind of heavy fortified sort of aroma.
Oh, I know what you mean. This almost reminds me of like a red wine.
Wow. Sorry, what was that, Jessy?
This almost reminds me of like a red wine.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
The coffee is really, really nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, actually, what it reminds me of is a couple of years ago, Brewdog did some coffee beans that they aged in old whiskey barrels.
This is exactly it. It's that barrel-aged coffee flavour, like almost of something that you would have as like an imperial beer that's going to be like very strong. It has that very boozy flavour to it, but without obviously the booze.
Yeah. I mean, this is how you definitely should trust ordering through Wise Bartender, because these are Tom's recommendations, and the Wit and the Porter have been top notch. Top notch.
Yeah. That's a game changer for me, I think. I think that's the biggest surprise of the night for me. That's crazy.
If people were getting in kind of these darker alcohol-free beers around Christmas and they wanted to have them with some kind of food, what would you recommend, Anja?
I mean, my first thought is just chocolates. Yeah, I mean, I would very happily drink that with like a nice beefy stew, personally, because it's quite a meaty beer. But I mean, I could imagine. I think it'd be great with dessert, like if you were having, I don't know, like a Black Forest Gatto or something, like, you know, just something.
Yule log.
Yeah, or like chocolate, cherries, like dark fruit. It'll go really well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
God,
that's very,
I'm
good.
so happy with this.
All right. Shall we move on to the last one?
I need a glass. Yeah, I'll go back to my big drop as we're on the big drop.
I think if that one was suitable for Black Forest Gatto, this one should be even more so, because this is a Gatto stout.
Oh, wow. Just sniffing the can, it smells like strawberry jelly.
Oh.
We'll see what it's like when we actually get a proper sniff on the glass. Oh my goodness, it does smell of jelly.
I think it smells of lip gloss.
That's a good shout. It definitely smells like sweets. Like it smells like a treat. Oh, you know the corner yogurts that have the fruit in one corner? Is it the Muller yogurts?
Mm-hmm.
There's I sometimes get those for my breakfast, and there's one that has like a cherry compote thing in it. That's what this smells like.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cherry in this. It's really nice. I think compared to, having just come from the porter and even from the Wheesht, having that kind of cherry helps cut through some of the heaviness that you're getting from the malts and stuff, which I quite like.
I lost you for a moment, but I think you said having the cherry helps to cut through, and I agree.
That is exactly what I said.
There's something so specific that it reminds me of, and I can't think what it is, and it's going to drive me crazy. I do think you notice the lactose in this a lot more than anything else that we've tried. It has got that really creamy texture. Sean's sneaking in for some. The cans.
I think this one, if you're not a fan of the more like tropical flavors, which we do see a lot in darker beers, this one's definitely for you because this has got more of like a nice sweetness to it.
I know what it is. It tastes of Haribo cherry.
Oh, interesting. I'm not sure if I'm getting that. Oh, I like that a lot, actually. And that feels like a really nice finisher because I was like, oh my God, so many dark beers.
What's been the standout for you?
I really like the Wheesht a lot. And I think the porter is very, very impressive. The porter's probably the one which I feel like is closest to it, like you just wouldn't know, which some people are looking for and some people aren't, but I feel like that one ticks a lot of boxes.
I'm just telling Sean off for eating popcorn.
Oh, nightmare.
I think
what one would you pick out?
I mean, I've enjoyed all of them, but I think of the ones that are new to me, the Lola Porter really just surprised me because I don't think I've had something that puts me so much in mind of a stronger beer in an alcohol-free format. Like, I think that's quite an achievement.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I actually also really like the Kinzig, the Gateau Stout, because for me, as someone who doesn't always go for like the heaviness of those darker beers, I feel like the cherry cuts through it really nicely.
Yeah,
I've got some recency bias as well going on there.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable to have something that has those kind of dark beer flavors like at format. It's really nice.
For sure. Well, that just about wraps up our tasting for tonight. You can get all of these beers at wisebartender.co.uk. We've got the banner going along at the bottom. I believe you can still buy them in the box. So if you didn't have them tonight, you'll be able to watch this back on the Club Soda YouTube channel, and you can drink along with us at your leisure. Then you can pause so you don't end up like us with 8 half-empty beers. And you can also buy lots and lots of other delicious alcohol-free beers at Wise Bartender. So, yeah. Anja, thank you for joining me.
It's been a pleasure.
Sorry, true to form, you cut out.
Oh dear.
All right. Well, great. Enjoy the rest of your beers tonight, you and everyone watching.
Cheers, Jessy. Good night.
Cheers.